Hey guys, and welcome back to Mad About Skin. In today's video, we are talking this product, Tretinoin, also known by its trade name retin-a. Now, this is a high potency, super popular retinoid, which I know a lot of us in the skincare community use for our anti-aging, minimizing fine lines and wrinkles, maximizing collagen and elastin production. And lots of people say it's the gold standard when it comes to anti-aging skincare. However, in the past 2 weeks, I've been inundated with questions and concerns from you guys over the future status and access to Tretinoin. There's lots of different stories flying around in the media about potentially regulators stepping in and preventing the sale of Tretinoin, certain countries restricting access on prescription, and so I did a little deep dive and I want to share all my findings for you guys in today's video. Sit back, relax, let's talk what's going on with Tretinoin. Now, before we get into this video, I want to test the court of public opinion when it comes to these changes. Obviously, watch to the end so you see exactly what's going on with Tretinoin. And then let me know in the comment section what your thoughts are. If you think these are good moves designed to just tighten things up and hopefully help us when it comes to our own skincare journey, let me know by leaving a thumbs up emoji in the comments. If you think this is just a classic case of government overreach and too much regulation, again, let me know by leaving the cross emoji in the comments. We can then weigh up exactly what you guys and the wider skincare community think. Whatever your thoughts on this product, on what we're talking about in today's video, if you enjoy this style of content where we really do a deep dive into a current topic in skincare, let me know by giving the video a big thumbs up and a like. The likes that you give to each video really helps me as a content creator, so from the bottom of my heart, thank you all so much. Now, we've got a lot to get through, so I'm going to cut that waffle and delve straight on in. So whilst there seems to be a lot of alarm in the skincare industry and the media around Tretinoin and some of the changes, I just want to put it straight out there. There is no point fear-mongering or leaving it right to the end of the video to tell you the answer of what's going on. Let's just put it out there. Tretinoin is not being cancelled. It's not been removed from sale, though there are some restrictions and some changes that you might notice. I want to put that up front in this video so that nobody's left worrying if you use this in your skincare routine and feel like you have to watch right to the end to know the answer. However, there's going to be a lot of different nuances depending where in the world you live, and whilst I don't think regulators in different countries have been working together, a lot of these changes just seem to have coincided, which when taken together I think has led to a little bit of hysteria online with people saying potentially Tretinoin might be going. Well, it's not, but we're going to pick it apart in today's video. So a lot of the changes seem to be coming out of the European Union and the UK, but for subtly different reasons. So when it comes to the European Union and Tretinoin, different countries within the European Union have different rules. So there are some countries within the EU where you can walk into a pharmacy and get Tretinoin over the counter. I don't know exactly which countries they are. I believe Romania is one, and I think you can still in Spain. But again, if you're in the EU and you can do this, let me know in the comments. Whereas there are some other countries that very tightly restrict the sale of Tretinoin, where it's prescription only, and you need that visit to the dermatologist before you can access the product. The EU prides itself on sort of standard practice across the whole bloc, and so they are going to be implementing some changes which will mean that going forward, and this will be phased in over multiple years, you will be requiring a prescription or an assessment consultation prior to accessing Tretinoin. Now, for some people that will be zero change because that's the existing state of affairs in their country within the EU. For others, this could be a significant change, but you know what, I think overall this is probably a change for the better because Tretinoin is really high potency and you do need to have a lot of precaution when you're using it. So I think an interaction with a professional that you can ask questions of, can assess your skin, is a key part of that process. So it did always baffle me that you could just walk in and buy you know, something as high potency as this over the counter, but you know, it's different rules for different countries. That standardisation across the EU will, of course, the change will depend where you live and what the current regulations are at the moment. So no, in the EU, Tretinoin isn't being cancelled, it's not been removed from sale, it is just being restricted over the period of like 5 to 7 years going forward in terms of how you'll exactly be able to access it. Now, changes are also occurring in the UK, not because of the EU rules. We left the EU, we no longer follow, well, we don't follow all the rules within the EU. So those changes won't impact the UK, where, you know, Tretinoin was prescription strength anyway. But there have been some changes to guidelines, which I think might be confusing people and making them believe it's additional regulation. So here in the UK, healthcare is primarily provided by the National Health Service, which is, I say, free at the point of need, absolutely, but we pay for it through our taxes. It's fairly comprehensive in terms of what you can get on the NHS, but there are some restrictions. And for years, the use of Tretinoin was only permitted for curing acne, treating and curing acne, not for anti-aging. And this makes perfect sense. The NHS is there for need. You know, anti-aging is very much cosmetic. It's not a need. It's more of a lifestyle choice, whereas acne and some of the consequences of it are very much seen as a healthcare need. So tretinoin was permissible for the treatment of acne, but wasn't permissible for the treatment of anti-aging, fine lines and wrinkles. That was pretty much the same for years and years and years. Recently, there's been some updated guidelines and information given to prescribers here in the UK around the use of tretinoin, actually recommending adapalene as like the first line of defense when it comes to treating acne. This kind of makes sense. As someone that's had acne for years, tretinoin works at the margins but was better for anti-aging. Adapalene, different, actually gave far better results in my experience for my acne. And studies are there to back that up. So what they're saying is if you're looking to treat someone's acne, really your first course should be different or adapalene rather than tretinoin. And that change has led a lot of people to kind of get that confused, thinking that they're removing tretinoin from sale or for access in the UK. And that's not the case. If you're in the UK and you want to get your hands on tretinoin for anti-aging, you absolutely can through a private GP or private dermatologist that can still prescribe it. Walk into a pharmacy and you can cash in that prescription, no problem at all. It's just a change in guidelines that I think people are misrepresenting as a change in regulation. There's also going to be a subtle change in terms of online assessments to get tretinoin. A lot of us here in the UK will use Dermatica, Curology, Skin and Me, the various different sites that you can then fill in a consultation and have an online assessment and then access your tretinoin without a prescription. There's going to be some tightening up of the rules around that. You'll still absolutely be able to do that, but these services are now going to be required to provide a follow-on like consultation or follow-on assessment to see how you're getting on with the medication. That seems standard. That seems like a good standard of care and practice, and most already do that. So again, it's not about tightening and regulating, it's just about putting the consumer first. And I think these are actually going to be quite good changes, and most of these brands already offer that. So again, very little change to be seen. I think some of the biggest changes to tretinoin and its access are actually going to occur in Canada. And a lot of the questions and concerns around the future of tretinoin seem to be coming from Canadian skincare enthusiasts, content creators and blogs, and I think that's understandable. I actually saw a video by Sincerely Miss Ash last night. I think we were obviously investigating this whole issue at the same time because these videos are going to be going up simultaneously, but I will leave a link to her video in the description box. I adore her content, and she's a Canadian content creator that I think gives a really good perspective on the Canadian situation. But in a nutshell, there's going to be some increased regulations around the manufacturing of tretinoin out of the Canadian market. So this doesn't mean that tretinoin's not going to exist. It just means that there's going to be some tightening up of the regulations around the manufacture, which means that some brands will no longer be able to be sold. So there's going to be a restriction in terms of access to certain brands, but not to tretinoin as an ingredient. This has been confirmed by a lot of professionals in Canada that say you'll still be able to get your hands on tretinoin. There might just be some short-term supply issues as certain brands are phased out and other ones increase production in line with regulations in order to, fulfill the market need. No risk to the future of tretinoin, but there might be some short-term supply issues, which again, I think is where a lot of this concern is coming from. People have gone to try and get their prescription filled and have been told, yeah, we're out of tretinoin. Our minds automatically go to, oh, there must be something happening. And there is, but it's around the manufacturer. It's not around the access to tretinoin, the core ingredient of these style of products. So I'm glad we can kind of clear that up. Across the world, these are the biggest changes coming from the European Union, which I think is like 300 million people, Canada, which is multi-million people, and the UK, where there's around 60 million people here. So millions of people, if they wanted to access tretinoin, might have some significant changes. But the rest of the world, nothing is changing. And in my view, I think these changes actually might be for the best. I think tretinoin is one of those ingredients that's better done in consultation with a professional, so you know how to use it, you know how to layer it, you can check that it's right for your individual skin's needs. And I think a lot of these changes kind of feed into making sure that that safety net and that check is in place. When it comes to changes to manufacture, obviously we want to be getting the highest quality products, and so any increase in regulations around the manufacture of tretinoin has to be a good thing. Ultimately, there are always loopholes, there are always workarounds. Here in the UK, you can absolutely just go online and buy tretinoin from and have it shipped from, usually India, I think a lot of them come from, but from other countries. Whilst there's always that temptation to do that, I always think when it comes to your skin, there often aren't any second chances. You don't want to destroy your skin barrier and then have to spend years trying to correct that. It's best just going with what your country offers, working with the system to get the best possible outcomes. And I think that's a consultation followed by a properly formulated and manufactured product that you know exactly how to use. And hopefully, in this video, we've been able to dispel the myth that tretinoin is being cancelled and it's disappearing, and rather, it's just been tightened to make sure everyone gets the best possible outcomes. I would love to know your thoughts, feelings, and opinions, so sound off in the comment section below. And wherever you are in the world, guys, stay safe, stay well, and love your skin. Take care. Bye!